A brain injury so severe that not only did the client have to undergo emergency brain surgery in the hospital, but doctors were forced to put our client into a medically induced coma for weeks. My name is David Scher, and I'm a partner at Block O'Toole and Murphy. We recently secured a $9.5 million settlement for a client who was badly injured while engaged in a commercial painting project. Our client was a painter by trade, and on the date of the incident, he and his team had a job to do to paint an airplane hangar in upstate New York, interior and exterior. The accident occurred as our client was high above the ground, painting the exterior of the hangar, standing on a long extension ladder. And one of the problems for our client is that this extension ladder was completely unsupported. What do I mean by that? No one was holding the bottom of the ladder, which is called footing the ladder, and the top of the ladder was in no way tied or secured. It was simply leaning against the building. Our client was simply far too high above the ground to be on an unsecured ladder. In addition to that, and compounding the problem, the ladder was moving against the side of the building that had just been freshly painted, meaning that it was somewhat slippery. Suddenly, the ladder began to tip to the right, slowly and slowly, as he realized there was nothing for him to do but experience the effects of gravity and fall to the ground. He fell approximately 20 feet and crashed down to the ground below. Our client suffered massive injuries in the accident, multiple fractures, but most significantly, a traumatic brain injury. A brain injury so severe that not only did the client have to undergo emergency brain surgery in the hospital, but doctors were forced to put our client into a medically induced coma for weeks, such that the brain swelling itself wouldn't kill him. This brain injury had devastating effects for our client. One side of his body was left not completely paralyzed, but severely weakened. Our client needed help with almost every normal activity of his daily life. He was able to walk, but only very slowly and gingerly with the help of a walker or a person, and sometimes a wheelchair was required. His loving wife helped him get out of bed, shower, take his medicine, get in and out of the house. Everything he did that he used to do easily and freely with no care in the world now required help from someone else. Our legal strategy for the case was basically twofold. We had to, of course, pursue the liability case, make sure that we would prove that the accident was the fault of the defendants, not the fault of our client. And we had to establish the damages case and the enormity of the damages case. As it pertains to the liability case, we conducted an investigation, which included interviewing witnesses immediately, getting statements, taking photographs of the area, among other things. We filed a lawsuit as quickly as we could against the owner of the property and the contractor that hired our client's painting company. Those entities, those companies, were responsible for site safety and responsible to comply with New York State Labor Law Section 240, which is known as the Scaffold Law. What Labor Law Section 240 requires of owners, developers, and general contractors is simply to provide proper protection to prevent workers from gravity-related incidents. In this case, we argued that an unsecured extension ladder was not the proper device to elevate this client to his work area. It was not the proper device to protect him from falling. What would have been proper? Well, a secured ladder, for one thing, would have been more appropriate. A ladder that was held by a worker, a ladder that was tied and secured at the top, rather than just leaning against the building. Even better, a scissor lift or a scaffold, a large, stable platform that wasn't subject to tipping over, would have been appropriate. We made those arguments by taking depositions of witnesses, by questioning them and forcing them to admit that those items would have been better and should have been available. We helped to buttress that argument by hiring an expert in construction, who gave an opinion in writing that was exchanged with the other side that this job wasn't safe, that this device was wrong, and that as a result, our client fell and was hurt. We were ready, had the case not settled, to file a motion for summary judgment to ask the court to find, as a matter of law, that the accident was 100% the fault of the defense for violating the labor law, for failing to provide proper fall protection to our client. We established the damages case in numerous ways. For one thing, of course, we gathered all the relevant medical records, exchanged them with the defense, hospital records, therapy records, diagnostic results, and on and on and on. We went above and beyond in this case. We had what's known as a day in the life video filmed of our client. A professional videographer who's accustomed to doing this sort of work spends time with a client like this one and his family. Before he does so, he interviews them, he talks to them, he gets an understanding of what their daily life is like. And then he goes in with a video camera and films and takes footage for as long as is necessary, days if needed, to really create a picture, a moving picture of what this client's day-to-day life is like living with this injury. And this can be a very powerful tool. It can be a tool to show to the jury at trial. And when you send it to the defense, what you're really saying to the defense is, watch this video, and now think about, once we show this video to a jury, what kind of award that jury is likely to give for our client. Another thing that we do to build any damages case, in particular this one, is make sure that we're accounting for the client's future life after the verdict, after the settlement. That means ensuring that enough money is there to pay for any medical cost or need or equipment or device or home modification, or in this case, visiting nurse service, whatever the client will need for the rest of his life, we're going to ask the defense to pay for. And we do that by hiring the best available expert doctors and economists to evaluate the client, his medical records, look at his life, look at his home, his family situation, and put together a real plan, a concrete, itemized plan of everything this client's likely to need as a result of his injuries and what it's going to cost, not just today, but what it's going to cost today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, with expected growth rates, because we all know things get more expensive over time. And doing all of that, the medical chart, presenting the client for deposition, presenting the day in the life video, presenting the economic loss, that all gives the defense a preview of what will happen if the case goes to trial. And that gives the defense an idea of how much money they're going to have to pay to buy their way out of that risk. And in this particular case, that amount of money, after many, many months of pushing and negotiating and mediating, came to $9.5 million. Brain injuries can affect people in so many different ways. One thing that we see, sadly, is it can begin to change a person's mood and a person's personality. It can make a person more irritable and angry. It can make a person more easily frustrated. It can make a person more easily sad. As a lawyer representing a client with a condition like this, it's extremely important, number one, to be experienced and understand what you're looking at and what you're dealing with. The key is empathy and patience, compassion and love. The more compassion and patience you can show, the better. That's going to bring out the real client, the real person, if you give them the time and the love and the empathy to speak with you the way they want to speak with you, the way they're deep down able to with enough time, then you're going to get the best conversation. You're going to get the best information, and you're going to have the best relationship with the client.